How do we think about moms on a local level? What can you as a brand do to better reach them? Well, today I am speaking with Kiley Stromberg, the founder of MoCo Mom. Today we're going to listen to what she's doing at a local level to engage moms, what moms are sharing with her in terms of their problems, their wants, what they need, and how she's serving them, as well as some ideas for what local businesses can do to work with groups like this. I'm hoping to help spark some ideas for you, whether you're a big brand with local locations around the country, or if you are a local business, or if you're an online business, maybe what you could do to bring that offline to interact with these moms and help them with what they need. Kiley Stromberg is a mom, business owner, military spouse, and often the default parent in her household. Her background in branding and web design has sparked a new passion, helping moms navigate day-to-day challenges on a local level. MoCo Mom began as a heartfelt response to the overwhelming task of balancing life as a stay-at-home mom alongside running a small business. Like many mothers, she found the mental load of managing childcare and finding social activities for her kids to be exhausting and inconsistent. Her mission is to advocate for better support for families and to make it easier for moms to find resources like childcare, schools, and events while building a village of moms that can support each other locally. Welcome to Marketing with Empathy, the podcast for brands that want to target and engage moms. Moms influence or control 85% of all household purchases, making them a lucrative market to figure out. Even if moms aren't your only audience, they're a critical one to figure out. I'm your host, Sarah Panus, and I have more than 20 years of experience working with big brands to small brands like Sleep Number, Starbucks, SheFit, American Heart Association, and more. So tune in here for ideas that get your products and services into the hands of moms who need them. Thanks to your support, this podcast is in the top 5% of all podcasts, and we're a member of the Marketing Podcast Network. So let's hear from our sponsors and then jump right into my conversation with Kiley Stromberg, the creator of MoCo Moms in North Carolina. Kiley, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here to give us a local lens of what you do in the local community as a group, as a community to better connect with moms. So first, tell us what the heck is MoCo Moms, and it's MoCo Mom.
So MoCo stands for Moore County, and Moore County kind of encompasses three main towns. It's like Pinehurst, Southern Pines, and Aberdeen here in North Carolina. You might be familiar with Pinehurst. They just hosted the US Open this summer. So that kind of tells you the demographic that's typically here. A lot of retirees are usually in Pinehurst, but we are also located about an hour away from what was Fort Bragg. It's Fort Liberty now. So a lot of militaries, families have found this gem of a neighborhood and they're moving in this way. And because of that, we've had kind of a shortage of communications for families that are coming into town. And I kind of noticed that shortage a little bit. So I wanted to start catering to mothers with children between the ages of 0 to 6 to get them access so much quicker to all of the awesome schools that are in this area because they're so hard to find sometimes. All of the gatherings to help get especially stay-at-home moms out the door during the week, and then to gather resources that just can benefit the family, whether it is a meal delivery company that's local to the area, or doulas and midwives for the expecting mamas, pelvic floor therapists even, things that we're not talking as much about and sometimes can be difficult to find. So just trying to find shortcuts and quick resources for those local families.
And kudos to you for just creating it, right? You saw a need, you listened, you heard, you observed. I mean, you started it for yourself because you were looking for something for your own kids, right? You have 1 or 2 kids?
I have 2 kids, and I do always joke that this all started from a feeling of desperation and isolation. And it was desperation because I had basically an Excel sheet of all the preschool options for my son, when the registration deadlines were, whether it was full-time or part-time. There's just so much that goes into it. And then the isolation, just trying to find ways to get outside of the house that didn't involve going to the same park over and over again.
And I know you created this group just earlier this year. So at the time of this recording, that's maybe like 7, 8 months ago or so. I'm curious, as you've started this business and you've gathered these moms together, how many moms are in the group so far?
We've seen like quick growth with pretty little marketing. We have over, let's see, I think it's over 1,100 social media followers, and then 500 of those are following us on our newsletter.
Wow. So a definite yes from the community that they are looking for this type of information. In addition to what you've described about your group already, tell us more about what you're hearing from the moms that are coming, that are following, because you're connecting with them mostly in person, right? And then also through your newsletter, or is it the other way around?
I would say almost the opposite right now, just because
Okay.
of time constraints. So it's mainly the newsletter that we're pushing out. So every Saturday or Sunday at noon, they're going to see a list of upcoming events for the upcoming week. And so, what are they looking for? I would say just a little bit of help. I think it's interesting to know that like being a stay-at-home mother isn't always a luxury, especially in this military space. Sometimes we had careers and those are getting left behind, or you would be so surprised to know how many women are actually trying to be full-time working mothers and stay at home with their children because of like daycare wait lists or trying financially trying to get a nanny that only comes in for part of the time. So I feel like there is just this like shortage of time for our mothers right now. There's like an overwhelm. I think there's also a lack of trust. I do think a lot of marketing right now eh, is on the side of we're being talked at rather than like conversing with. And so much of it is telling us we're doing something wrong to try to sell us a product on how to get our kids to sleep correctly or how to discipline your child the right way. Like there are just so many things out there, even a blog post that's trying to tell you how to get out of the house. Like I feel like that was really frustrating for me as a stay-at-home mother because it's like I know what I need to do, but I don't know how to access these events. I don't know where to go. And so I'm just trying to break it down to the most minimal level there is and really address these mothers on a very, very local need and fulfill that. Um, and help them find their village. I think there's so much commentary about the village being lost. And sometimes I think it's just more difficult to find, especially again in this military world. We're uprooted so often. The last thing I wanted was a family to move over to Fort Bragg and have no idea where to take their kids or how to find that community. So again, it's a bit of a shortcut, and you would be amazed that our village is actually also a bunch of mothers that are just phenomenal entrepreneurs that are trying to help like moms get to the gym and you can bring your kids with you. There are like classes that try to help neurodivergent kids process art and process their feelings, do yoga and meditation. That's all part of this village. And sometimes I also think it's hard for them to market for themselves because that's a full-time job in itself. So MoCo Mom is just meant to become this one hub for these moms to go to and find everything that they need to get reacclimated into this community. And then those events too.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then, like once a month, we're trying to do a Saturday play date, especially for working moms, especially for spouses who their significant other might be deployed. Saturdays, Sundays can be really, really long for them. So just finding that time for them to get a break in their day, find some community, and then like silly little things we like to do, like a Taylor Swift book club when her new album was out, just trying to get fun ways to get moms out the door and on their own as well.
I love that. It's such a great example of what we can do in a local community and what you're doing to bring moms together. So, what advice do you have for local businesses? How can they better connect with moms?
One of the best things you could do is just open up your storefront. Like, I just think of a coffee shop, how wonderful it would be if you hosted a story time, like even once every 2 weeks. Bring the moms in the door, like really just build that foundation of trust. And I think moms can be super loyal, loving. They'll come back. Just sponsor a story time. Think about sponsoring, I think, are they called bike trains or walk trains on the way to school? So instead of everyone driving to school, there can be like a little train that's, you know, getting everyone to school at the same time. Like having a small
Mhm.
business kind of sponsor that walk and just,
Mhm.
yeah, continue to build that foundation of trust, really.
So, what I'm hearing is thinking of those moments of how you can make it really easy for the mom to bring her kids along with her with some nice distractions of things that the kids can do to give the moms a break. Obviously, that's so key for moms as we're busy trying to juggle all the things. And especially with young kids, as you have in your community, 0 to 6, those are busy little bodies that it's nice as a mom to have some healthy and helpful distractions just to give mom a break. So, folks, listen in right now. If you run a big brand with local locations or a small company with locations, or maybe you do some pop ups now and then locally, think about that. Think about these opportunities of looking at local mom groups that you could tap into, because I know I talk about it on the show here, and you'll hear me say this a lot, but the recent stats show that moms influence or control 85% of all household purchases. Purchases. This is a very lucrative market from a business perspective. And if you look at it with your business hat on, that's why you want to engage and reach moms, so that you can build a loyalty with an audience that feels like you're hearing them and helping them and making their life easier. And really, that's what marketing with empathy, when I think about that and how we as brands can better market to moms, it's really ultimately it's about how can we help get our products and services into the hands of more moms that need them. And you want to do it in an empathetic way. This is a great example, Kylie, as you're walking us through this, which is, hearing what your local community needed, what they wanted help with, and how you could help them with that. It reminds me of a local business where I live, where every Tuesday there's this pizza shop that does a special promotion, and it's not specific to moms. But what makes me think of this idea and this opportunity for local stores is this pizza shop's doing a BOGO, buy one get one free pizza, and these are these amazing fire oven roasted pizzas. And Tuesday's their quietest day of the week. So they wanted to create an idea like Taco Tuesday. I heard from their manager, he was talking about it, and they decided to do Tono's Tuesday. Fantastic, yummy pizza, by the way. That place is packed every single Tuesday. We go in with our family and we get pizza. Look around, and so is everybody else. It's a great example of how you can think about a quieter day of the week and think about what could be an offering like story time or something like that that you could bring moms in with their kids.
I think too, like I would much rather have the mom that brings in a kid that also wants a juice box and a croissant and her caffeine, other than, my 20 something self who would grab the espresso and sit there for 4 hours stealing your Wi Fi.
And to your earlier point, it's an interesting insight too, that like you said, you know how to get out of the house. Your pain point was you just didn't know what existed for you and your kids to go to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would get so beat up or defeated if it was like the one event that we were trying to make it to that week because I just didn't know all the resources that were out there. Like I wasn't going to wake up my child from nap time to get to that. So we would miss that. And I would just feel in this lull. Like, how am I going to socialize him? Like, what else is there?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So this is hopefully just opening the door for other moms to not have to really go through that experience because they're out there. And then again, like marketing for these small businesses is just so difficult, and finding childcare. Like sometimes you'll find a Facebook page for a childcare facility that hasn't been updated in the last 4 years, but they're very active and it's a very nurturing community, but they just don't have the time um, to develop the marketing that they need to. So then I think they get a little lost too, and we don't want
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that to happen.
You saying that reminds me of another great Minneapolis local business that just opened in 2024 that does a fantastic thing. It's a co-working space. So entrepreneurs and people who work from home can go there and rent out a desk for the day or an office or something and work from that space. But they actually did something different that no other co-working space around does, and they offer childcare at their location. So you can go in as a mom, as a parent, you can work and have your kids be watched in childcare in like the next section over of the area, and you don't have to be watching them. And guess what? Boom, they're booked out. It's hot. And I'm like, gosh, how smart. Such a great example of how we can provide for moms and how we think about helping them take care of their kids while allowing them to be able to do their work at the same time in a really nice blended model.
I would
Is
love
there
that. I
anything?
hope that's the way of the future.
I agree. And, I think it's things like this are really going to help the stats that show more women, more moms specifically leaving the workplace because we're having to be in a point where we're deciding between family and work. Because statistically, moms still are the majority caregiver of their children. We feel that responsibility, we take on that responsibility. And places like this co-working space that offer childcare, incredible, right? It allows us to be able to have moments where we don't have to choose. We can still pursue professional dreams and desires while still loving our number one priority in our kids and being able to nurture and be near them as well. So Kylie, for all the brand leaders listening right now, wondering how they can better connect and sell their products and services to moms, what else are you observing?
I think like taking the weight off a little bit. I feel like there's just so much pressure. And again, so many businesses that are telling us we're doing something wrong to sell their product. So just backing off of that a little bit.
Can you give us an example of something you've done that's really resonated and worked well with your mom community?
We had a giveaway that was absolutely massive. Like it should not have been this good, but we probably, the gal that I paired up with, she was called the Local Mixer, and she just makes a lot of little mixes for cocktails, non-alcoholic or alcoholic. And for Mother's Day, I mean, each of us probably had less than 700 followers. But for Mother's Day, we were doing a giveaway for the Tired Mommy and the Party Mommy. And so the Tired Mommy mixer consisted of like a lavender haze edition that you can add to coffee. And then the Party Mommy was just a spicy margarita mix that you could add to some tequila, have some fun. And so the giveaway, that was the initial carousel post. The second carousel, I decided to be kind of silly and I posted a meme. So that second carousel has Kris Kardashian kind of like gazing in sunglasses. And it says something like me 2 margaritas deep on Mother's Day watching my husband deal with the kids. And her quote is, "I'm sorry you're overwhelmed." And this giveaway had like 50 shares, and we didn't ask anyone to share. We just asked them to like the post and comment, like tag 3 supermoms. There were 250 comments. There were over 250 likes, 291 comments. Like
Wow.
the interaction in this was just absolutely huge. And I think so much of it had to do with we just lighten the mood a little bit. And then pairing with someone local is such a big thing to do too. But even the local mixer gal had said usually she only gets about 12 comments and 20 likes. So the engagement on this post was just really, really big. And I think so many people were just sharing it out of the lightheartedness of it a little bit, even when we asked them not to. So, yeah, going back to that, I would just say just take the weight off some of the messaging just a little bit, because I think the pressure's on sometimes, is the way that it feels for a lot of us.
And memes can be really great at being relatable and having a sense of humor in a very easy way. Brands creating their own memes is such a great example of ways that we can evoke and share kind of those feelings that other moms can relate to. Well, I would just like to do a little plug here for you, Kylie. You did not ask me to do this, but folks, if you are in Moore County in North Carolina, it's near like the Raleigh, North Carolina area, definitely connect with Kylie because Kylie, I think you're primed for business partnerships and sponsorships of your newsletter and your events and giveaways because you have a very engaged community already with it being so new. All right, that wraps up our behind the scenes look at how Kiley Stromberg has created this mom community in Moore County, North Carolina called MoCo Mom. And I hope it spurred some ideas of what you could do on a local level to engage mom groups or to participate, to sponsor, to speak in a better way that's going to serve and help them. And I think it's really interesting to hear the feelings that these moms have and what Kylie is hearing from the moms in her group. It's not different to other emotions and feelings I hear from other groups and businesses that are targeting moms across the country. So great insights. Thank you, Kylie, for being on the show. Until next week, God bless.